Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly discussion program of the daily MCQs of Amrita Civil Service Academy. My name is Sibi Joy and we'll be beginning with this video soon. So first question, consider the following statements about the World Health Organization. First statement, this intergovernmental organization is a specialized agency of United Nations. Second statement, India is a member of this organization. Third, it is entrusted with the responsibility of declaring a public health emergency and pandemic. Select the correct answer using the given below code. Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. And option D, all of the above. Now, if you look at this question, it's a specialized agency of the UN. India is a member of this organization. It is entrusted with the responsibility of declaring a public health emergency and pandemic. Now, with respect to the current corona situation which is happening all across the world, we know that WHO has played a very clear role in it. So you can definitely say that India is a member of this organization, and we also know it was WHO which declared it to be a pandemic. So we can surely say that statements 2 and 3 are correct. Even if you don't know about the first statement, that whether it is a specialized agency of the United Nations, we are sure that option 2 and option 3 are correct. So keeping that in mind, you can say that the correct answer would be option D, all of the above. The explanation is, statement 1 is correct. The World Health Organization, WHO, the United Nations Specialized Agency for Health, was founded in 1948. India became a party to the WHO in 12 Jan 1948. And the third statement is also correct. The World Health Organization is responsible for declaring a pandemic, and the WHO monitors disease activity on a global scale through a network of centers located in countries worldwide and has a pandemic preparedness plan that consists of 6 phases of pandemic alert. We'll go for the next question. Which of the following sectors are included in 8 core industries while calculating the index of industrial production? Option 1, pharmaceuticals, coal, steel, refinery products. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A, 1, 2 and 3. Option B, 2, 3 and 4. Option D, 1, 3 and 4. Option C is 1, 3 and 4. And option D is all of the above. Now, this question may not be generally known to the people who are not familiar with certain terms of business or economy related topics. But if you look at it from a general perspective, which of the following sectors are included in the 8 core industries while calculating the index of industrial production? So generally, by learning about reading the statement, we can say that index of industrial production talks about an index which contains almost the majority of industrial production, and it talks about the 8 core industries. So keeping that in mind, you can say that coal, steel are definitely a part of a real core industrial parts. Pharmaceuticals, not necessarily. Refinery products, of course, India is a large consumer of petrol and other refined petroleum, other fossil fuel products. So keeping that in mind, if you have a sense of it definitely has 2 and 3, you will see that option A, option B and option D will be correct. Option C can be eliminated. And pharmaceuticals, not necessarily, is a part of the core industries. While it is a very important part, does it really form a part of the core industries? Not as much as coal or steel or refinery products. Keeping that in mind, we can make a qualitative option saying that it's either B, 2, 3 and 4, or if you keep pharmaceuticals 2, it's option D, all of the above. So we've managed to eliminate it to at least 50-50. That should be the logic which is running through our mind. Keep that in mind. The correct answer is option B, 2, 3 and 4. We'll go for the explanation. The index of industrial production shows the growth rates in different industry groups of the economy in a fixed period of time. The 8 core industries represent around 40% of the weight of items that are included in the IIP. The 8 core industries, in decreasing order of their weightages: refinery products, followed by electricity, followed by steel, followed by coal, followed by crude oil, followed by natural gas, followed by cement, and at last fertilizers. So definitely pharmaceuticals is not a part of the 8 core industries in the index of industrial production. Now this is a bit of a factual question, but if someone uses a bit of logic and tries to broaden his horizons a bit, definitely you will be able to make at least a 50-50 guess on this kind of questions. Next question. In context of Pangong Tso, consider the following statements. It is protected under the Ramsar Convention as a wetland of international importance. Second statement, it is a part of the Indus River Basin area. Choose the correct code. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, none of the above. Again, it's a factual question. This question has come up because it was asked it was present in the news recently. So Pangong Tso if you know about it, you will be learning about all these things. What is the Ramsar Convention? What is the Indus River Basin Area? What is Pangong? So you'll be learning it. But if you had read the news, you'll know that it is actually not part of the Ramsar Convention. Rather, it is being considered for it. And neither is it a part of the Indus River Basin Area, but rather it's a landlocked separate basin. So we'll go for the explanation. The answer is D. It is none of the above. The statement 1 is not correct because the lake is in the process of being identified under the Ramsar Convention. It is not yet identified as a wetland of international importance. This will be the first transboundary wetland in South Asia under the convention. The statement 2 is not correct because it is not part of the Indus River Basin area and geographically it's a separate landlocked river basin. Next question. In context of Soharai Kovar painting, consider the following statements. First statement, it is a tribal folk art of Telangana. Second statement, they are mainly based on forest life themes. Third statement, recently it got the geographical indication tag, GI tag. Choose the correct code. Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 and 3 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. And option D is all of the above. Now, again, it's a factual question. One must know what is the Soharai Kovar painting. They are mainly based on forest life themes. Recently, it got the GI tag. Now, since it's a factual question, we can't employ too much logic. So, unless you know the language or unless you are from that area, it's going to be very difficult for us to identify this comes specifically from one state. But since it's an important part of our current affairs and since this has come in the paper, consistently with regards to GI and everything, we must be aware that it is not a part of Telangana, but it's rather a part of Jharkhand. So, we'll go for the explanation. The answer is B, which is option 2 and 3. Jharkhand's Soharai Kovar painting and Telangana's Telia Rumal were given the GI tag by the Geographical Indications Registry headquartered in Chennai. The statement 1 is not correct because it's a tribal folk art of Jharkhand. And the statement 2 and 3 are correct because sparrows, peacocks, squirrels and cows inhabit the world of Soharai and Kovar paintings. Popular in Hazaribagh region of Jharkhand, the folk art draws heavily from forest life. So, in these questions, it is highly necessary that we must have a general idea of where they are based in and what is the theme they employ. So, as you go through the preparation, definitely you will start coming across them often and it will start, getting inside your mind consistently. Next question. Consider the following in context of Global Nutrition Report of 2020. It is published annually by the International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI. The report aims to inspire governments, civil society and private stakeholders to act to end malnutrition in all its forms. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. And option D, neither 1 nor 2. Now, Global Nutrition Report. That's the report which we are discussing about here right now. First statement, if you look at it, it is published annually by International Food Policy Research Institute. So, food policy, while it does seem similar to nutrition, it does not necessarily have as much contact with nutrition as many other organizations have. Like Global Nutrition Report is something, maybe some other agency would have been doing it instead of some Food Policy Research Institute, which is not necessarily isolated to nutrition. So, keeping that in mind, there is a doubt about the first statement. The second statement, the report aims to inspire governments, civil society and private stakeholders to act to end malnutrition in all its forms. It's quite possible. So, you can go for either option B, 2 only or option C, both 1 and 2. Again, we've made an elimination of 50-50. So, if you look at the answer, actually answer is option B and the first statement is not correct. So, before we'll just go into it, India is among the 88 countries that are likely to miss global nutrition targets by 2025 according to the Global Nutrition Report of 2020 released recently. The statement 1 is not correct because this report has been produced by the independent expert group of the Global Nutrition Report supported by the Global Nutrition Report stakeholder group. The World Health Organization is a global nutrition partner. It's not the IFPRI. And the second statement is correct because this report aims to inspire governments, civil society and private stakeholders to act to end malnutrition in all its forms. Next question. Consider the following statements about the non-banking financial institutions known as NBFCs. First statement, they can accept demand deposits up to 1 lakh per customer. Being a part of the payment and settlement system, they can issue checks drawn on itself. And NBFCs are companies registered under the Companies Act of 1956. So, options are option A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 2 only, option C, 3 only, and option D is all of the above. Being a part of the payment and settlement system, which is the second statement, they can issue checks drawn on itself. Checks are generally referred to the banks themselves. Only the banks can draw it upon themselves, or you can get a check for the State Bank of India, but you can't get a check for a non-banking financial company, maybe something like a financial FinCorp or something like a chit funds. You can't get a check based upon that chit fund's name. So keeping that logic in mind, you can say that the second statement is clearly wrong. You remove the second statement, option A is gone, option B is gone, and option D is also gone. Automatically it's option C. You don't have to know about what is an NBFC. Just know that it's a non-bank. It's a non-banking financial institution. Take any non-banking financial institution, any financial institution like a money lending, gold loan agency, which is clearly not a bank. They cannot give a check which is supported by themselves. It should be drawn on a bank, separate bank. So if you keep that logic in mind, definitely you'll be able to attend this question. We'll go for the explanation. Answer is C. Statement 1 is not correct because NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits, and the statement 2 is also not correct because NBFCs do not form a part of the payment and settlement system and cannot issue checks drawn on itself. Statement 3 is correct, and NBFC is a company registered. The term NBFC itself says non-banking financial company. So NBFC is a company registered under the Companies Act of 1956. It is engaged in the business of loans and advances, acquisition of shares, stocks, bonds, debentures, securities issued by the government or local authority, or other marketable securities of a like nature, leasing, hiring, hire purchase, insurance business, chit business, but does not include any institution whose principal business is that of agricultural activity or industrial activity, purchase or sale of any goods other than securities, or providing any services and sale, purchase, construction of immovable property. Now, this is a very big explanation statement, but just note it comes under the Companies Act, and have an idea of what are the services they are involved in and what are they not allowed to be involved in to be declared as an NBFC. Just have that idea. We'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, or the WCCB. First statement, it is a statutory body. It is designated nodal agency for Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, or known as CITES related enforcement. It is mandated to establish a centralized wildlife crime data bank. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 and 2, option B 2 and 3, option C 1 and 3, and option D is all of the above. Now, if you look at this question, again, it's a factual question. One must know what is the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. One must know what is CITES. So the first and second statement needs a bit of a background knowledge. At the same time, this has come in our current affairs, and you will be learning about this organization as part of your syllabus. You will be learning about them. So keeping that in mind, I don't want to go too much into the logic. We'll just say the answer is actually D, all of the above, because the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau is a part of a act known as the Wildlife Protection Act. So we'll go into the explanation. The answer is D. Statement 1 is correct. Considering the seriousness of organized wildlife crime and illegal trade of wildlife parts and products, the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau was created in 2007 under the provisions of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. And WCCB is a statutory multidisciplinary body under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, or known as MOEFCC. The statement 2 is also correct because the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau is a designated nodal agency for CITES-related enforcement. And the statement 3 is also correct because under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, WCCB is mandated to establish a centralized wildlife crime bank data. Next question. In context of Chitra Gene Lamp N, consider the following statements. It is a diagnostic kit that can confirm COVID-19 in a speedy and cost-effective way. It employs reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction known as RT-PCR methodology for detection. Which of the above mentioned statements is correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, and option D neither 1 nor 2. Now, with regards to Chitra Gene Lamp N, it's related to the COVID crisis. So, you can say it's a part of an important current affair. Just have an idea what is the technology behind it. Since it's a part of a factual question, unless one knows the technology, on a first glance, both of the statements may seem to be correct. But actually, the second statement is wrong because it does not employ the RT-PCR technology. It's a factual question, like I said, so unless one knows about it, it's going to be very hard to identify the wrong answer. We look at the explanation. The statement 1 is correct because it was the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, SCTIMST, Trivandrum, Kerala, has developed a diagnostic test kit that can confirm COVID-19 in 2 hours at a low cost. The statement 2 is not correct because the confirmatory diagnostic test, which detects the N gene of SARS-CoV-2 using reverse transcriptase loop-mediated amplification of viral nucleic acid, which is known as the RT-LAMP technology and not the RT-PCR technology. And it uses the RT-LAMP technology, will be one of the world's first few, if not the first of its kind in the world. The test kit funded by the Department of Science and Technology, or DST, called the Chitra Gene LAMP N. That word LAMP is used because it uses the RT-LAMP technology. Called Chitra Gene LAMP N is highly specific for SARS-CoV-2 N gene and can detect 2 regions of the gene, which will ensure that the test does not fail even if one region of the viral gene undergoes mutation during its current spread. It's a factual question. One must know about it to make a qualitative analysis. We'll go for the next question. Which of the following are pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan or Self-Reliant India Mission? First, land. 2, infrastructure. 3, demand. 4, labor. And 5, system. Choose the correct code. Option A, 1, 3, 4 and 5. Option B, 2, 3 and 5. Option C, 3, 4 and 5. And option D, all of the above. It's a difficult question because all of them sound very similar. You just have to understand land and labor does not come in this. Land and labor does not come in this because land and labor are, there's a state involvement also in it. You look at the central list and the state list, there's some involvement in the political spheres also. You leave land and labor, the rest of them, they do form a part of the pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan mission. Look at the explanation. Answer B. The Self-Reliant India Mission aims towards cutting down import dependence by focusing on substitution while improving safety compliance and quality goods to gain global market share. The mission would be based on 5 pillars, namely economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography, and demand. So this is based upon the recent mission launched by the Indian government. So unless one has a very clear-cut idea of what this mission talks about and what are the main pillars involved in it, it's going to be really hard to tackle. But it's a very important mission, and even if you don't know it, just read the explanation which we've shown over here. It should be definitely helping you out in your future. Next question. Recently, the government has launched the Champions portal to encourage digital literacy among the self-help groups or SHGs, provide one-stop shop solution for MSMEs or micro, small and medium enterprises, monitor battle against the COVID-19 and honor the Swasthya Sipahi. It's a specific question, so I don't want to go too much into it. You know the answer, you can go for it. So explanation, the Champions here stands for creation and harmonious application of modern processes for increasing the output and national strength. It's a system which utilizes modern information communication technology or ICT tools which are aimed at assisting Indian MSMEs to help them to become national and global champions. The portal is basically for converting smaller units into bigger ones by solving their grievances, encouraging, supporting, helping and hand-holding, and is a real one-stop shop solution of MSME ministry. So that is the idea. Just remember, Champions portal is with regards to the MSME ministry, and it's a portal meant towards improving the MSME sector. Just keep that in mind. Next question. Consider the following statements about Yakshagana. It is a traditional theatre form of Kerala. Second statement, themes of this art form are mythological stories and Puranas. 3, it is performed only in Malayalam. Select the correct answer using the given below code. Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. And option D, 3 only. Now, Yakshagana, Kerala, Malayalam, themes of this art are mythological stories and Puranas. So, if someone knows Kerala history very well, we know that there is no such thing known as the Yakshagana art form in Kerala as such. So, it's actually, this art form has been present in the news for over the last 1 year, and it's a part of the Karnataka's traditional theatre art form. So keeping that in mind, we can remove option 1, and option A and option C gets removed, and it is not performed only in Malayalam. Obviously, it's a kind of theatre form of Karnataka, so the largest possibility you see is mainly in the language of Kannada. So if you remove option 3 also, the only answer left is option B, which is 2 only. The themes of this art form are mythological stories and Puranas. But one must have a very clear idea of where the Yakshagana originates from. Keeping that in mind, explanation, statement 1 is not correct because Yakshagana is a traditional theatre form of Karnataka. And the statement 2 is correct because it is a temple art form that depicts mythological stories and Puranas. Statement 3 is not correct because usually it's recited in Kannada. It is also performed in Malayalam as well as in Tulu, which is a dialect of South Karnataka. Next question. Which of the following funds are held or financed by the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, also known as NABARD? 1. Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. 2. Alternative Investment Funds. 3. Long-term Irrigation Funds. And which of the above mentioned statements are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. And D. All of the above. Again, it's a factual question. One must know what is the NABARD and what are these three funds. You'll be learning about the NABARD and all the funds and what is its function as part of your preparation. So I don't want to delay too much, but just know that it's a refinance bank. It does not give loans directly to the people. Rather, it gives these loans to other banks and other funds, which then give it to the people. So it is a refinancing institution. Keeping that in mind, all these three options sound really good when matched with NABARD. So we'll go for the answer, which is answer D, which is the correct answer. Explanation, statement 1 is correct because the government of India created the RIDF in NABARD in 95-96 with an initial corpus of rupees 2,000 crores. And recently 28,000 crores for 2018-19 under the RIDF 24, the cumulative allocation has reached 3,20,500 crores, including 18,500 crores under the Bharat Nirman. So the first statement is correct. In the second statement, to give a fillip to sustainable and equitable growth in agriculture, agro-processing, industry and service sectors in rural areas, professionally managed SEBI-registered alternative investment funds under categories 1 and 2 having exposure to agriculture and rural sector has been identified as yet another important tool, and such investments are covered under the Section 26 of the NABARD Act of 1981. Frankly saying, SEBI-registered alternate investment funds, they come under the regulation of the SEBI, which is the Securities and Exchange Board of India, and NABARD is also investing in them. So that statement is also correct. The third statement, long-term irrigation fund, was operationalized in NABARD during the 2016-17 for fast-tracking the completion of 99 identified medium and major irrigation projects spread across 18 states in mission mode by December 2019. So that also comes under NABARD. So generally that is also self-explanatory. So we are ending part 1 of the video. Thank you.